Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a model showcase for you. This one will be really quick because I didn't do too much to this car here. Excuse me. And yeah, this is a Rivarossi / AHM Santa Fe dining car. Actually, if you guys didn't know, I actually had this exact car before, but then I sold it because I figured, because I learned that Rivarossi, heavyweight prototypes are all over the place. So I was like, there's no way this is a prototype, so I just sold it. But actually, turns out. This is the Rivarossi based their heavyweight dining car off of a Santa Fe prototype, so this is actually prototypically correct. Now, somewhat. There's a lot of things that are missing and a lot of dimensions that are wrong, so I'll go in more detail about that later. But anyway, so yeah, I modified this car. I eventually want two heavyweight dining cars, so this one will just be the stock, and then I actually have a second. Oh, excuse me. I have a second. I didn't prepare it for this video at all, as you could tell. But I have the second car right here. This is a Baltimore and Ohio car. It's actually a completely different green. It's a much brighter green. Put this inside over there. But anyways, yeah, that one I'm actually going to plan to super detail or actually make it like prototypically accurate. This one, I'm just going to leave it like this. I basically just added lights and customized a few things. But otherwise, this is pretty much stock. I'm not going to bother with all the incorrections or all the corrections. If you want a photo of the original, here's what it looks like. As you can see, that's the as-built version. And then Santa Fe, actually, if you guys didn't know, they later modified all their windows to remove this top little part, so they're a lot, shorter. Basically, this top little part was removed. And so actually, this is like a brass model. This costs like $200. But yeah, that's what a Santa Fe car would look like, heavyweight would look like. And yeah, so those are the windows. You can see top parts removed. There's a window that's higher for some reason, and then all these kitchen area windows right here. I'm not going to show the other side because it's pretty much similar story, obviously different layout, but yeah, anyways. So like, some things are wrong, like for example, there actually should be a bulge, excuse me, a bulge up here for like the air vent, for the AC. Actually, I can scroll back to right here. Yeah, so there's a little air vent, as you can see up here, that I didn't recreate. Also, if you look carefully at this model here, you see that the window out of the door is right next to the window. There's like barely any gap here. And if you look at this one, there's a pretty large gap here. I think they designed it so it could be enlarged to make it look a bit like 85 foot long. Because I believe that the real dining cars are a bit shorter. I might be wrong about that, but anyways, my bad, 80 foot. But anyways, yeah, so they kind of changed the sizes and areas of a few windows and whatnot. They also, I think, enlarged this place. But anyways, yeah, so this is definitely not 100% correct. It's missing it's actually missing a lot of detail on the top, and then the sides are way too flat. It's missing the AC here. It's missing a lot of the handrails and whatnot. These are too large, etc. But anyways, yeah, I didn't bother with that. So what I did do is, first things first, they had these really bulky looking, separately applied grab irons. As you can see here, so basically I cut them off, and then I got some fine wire ones, which I just formed with pliers, and then actually they were preformed, but yeah, I modified them a little bit. I drilled holes and then I painted it black. I glued it and painted it black. So that's the first thing. The second thing is I removed the coupler, the truck mounted couplers, and added these just kadee coupler boxes. Nothing special. I did add a few. As you can see, it's there's a bit of white there. I had to add a few thin styrene sheets to make it so the coupler height is at the correct level. As far as the trucks go, I made the gap between the truck and the body itself a lot smaller, so there used to be like a big gap between here, and now it actually looks somewhat realistic. I also enlarged I had to cut off a little bit of each of the trucks in order to fit these 36-inch wheels. If you guys didn't know, Rivarossi actually used 33-inch wheels on their Pullman heavyweights, so I'm using 36-inch wheels. As you can see, they're modified, so I actually had to cut, just use a knife and slightly scrape off a little bit of each of these brake wheel things. And then I used screws and nuts. There's you can see kind of a screw down there. I sanded the head of it flat, because otherwise this middle wheel would scrape on it. I don't really like how their design has a screw right directly underneath the wheel instead of on the side here. They have it directly underneath the wheel, which is kind of a pain. But anyways, I had to work around that. I also added these. Well, I couldn't find any, so I just made these. What do you call them? Just truck pickups, wheel pickups. So I have it so all three wheels pick up, although they only pick up from one side. So unfortunately, they're not as good as Walther's cars, which if you guys don't know, they pick up all 6 wheels instead of just one side. But anyway, so this truck picks up one side, this truck picks up the other. And I think I formed these pickups pretty good. They actually do their job very well. So and then let me put this back on the track. And the very last thing is, I took a picture. I only took one picture of this because I wasn't actually going to show you guys. But anyways, you can see here's the interior piece, which is just, it came with it, but yeah. I also removed the interior lighting. It was actually just a really shitty piece. It was like a clear plastic bar with a single incandescent bulb in the middle. It shined really unevenly. It used a lot of power because it's incandescent bulbs, and it's just a big issue. Also, it's very easy to see once you look inside the car. In this case, you can see I also added weights. So the very first thing is in the middle here. This interior piece rests exactly flat on here, so I couldn't have any of the weights protrude past the flat part, the floor. So I just used BB balls for these three areas, and I used lead weights that I pounded with a hammer and anvil to fit perfectly inside these little rectangular battery box holes, which is pretty awesome. So this added a few ounces. I believe I added about, I'd say maybe one to 1.5 ounces of weight, because these are 1/4 ounce pieces. So yeah, it's like maybe 1 to 1.5 ounce. So yeah, that I added some weight, and then you can see I used some brass washers that I added on here, that I soldered a wire to each of these trucks to bring the power up. So yeah, the power goes from the wheels to the pickups to the screws, up the screw along to the washer, and then onto these wires that go to this custom little thing I did there, which basically just makes the power. First off, it converts DCC to DC power, and then it also has a capacitor and has a resistor to bump down the light level so it's not nearly as bright. And then you can see the LED strip I used up here, so this gives you constant lighting. I also had to modify the roof a little bit up here. I had to chop some pieces up so I can actually fit this capacitor inside here. And this capacitor is, you basically cannot see it directly from this angle. You have to see, I think you have to look, yeah, you have to look from this angle, and it's kind of hard to see, but yeah, it's inside there. But you don't generally look at the cars from the ends, especially in a dining car, which is always in the middle of the train. So you'll never see it. You'll never see the car from this direction. But yeah, as far as the lights go, as you know, I make the lights relatively dim. So in the daytime, they're nice and dim, but then in nighttime, you can see they're very bright. And yeah, you can see that there's they're constant lighting, and there's absolutely no, you can't see any wires or anything like that. You can't see the lights up there, sort of, if you look very sharply angled upwards. But yeah, so they're pretty nice, constant lighting, very smooth, no flickering at all. And yeah, well, yeah, so it's a small capacitor, so it definitely does eventually go out of power if you go on a bad piece of track. But like if I take it off, yeah, it'll be light for a little bit, and then when you put it back on, that's up. So anyways, yeah, that's pretty much it. I basically just I upgraded a bunch of things. I didn't like their push pin system here. I added some weight. Yeah, so I used screws here. I used pickups. I used better wheels. I used better I replaced the thick plastic what are they called, just handrails, I guess, grab irons here. I replaced the kadee couplers, and I replaced the lighting system. So that's pretty much it. There's not too much to this. It is still stock. As I said, this car, which will be definitely like a future project, a long in the future project, I'll be trying to customize. I'll try my best to modify this to look like a real, like a legitimate Santa Fe car, but this will work for the meantime, and it's really smooth, and it runs great. So yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. It's just kind of I guess it's actually starting to get really long, but yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions or comments, please comment down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.